Crafting Vicky here with you, and I'm here for a totally different type of video today. I've been meaning to do this video for a while. I'm sitting outside, as you can hear the birds and you can see me in my swing and just enjoying life in general. And I've been seeing a lot of people share things, and there's stuff that I want to share, and I wasn't quite sure how to bring it out in a video and if I should, but then there's this little voice in me that says if there's only one person that it helps out there, then it's worth for me sharing. And so that's why I'm here and I'm sharing with you guys. So basically, I know that I've shared in the beginning of my YouTube videos, but probably a lot of you haven't gone back to all of those videos, which is a good thing because obviously I've evolved through the process of making YouTube videos. And though they're not, you know, professional quality and whatever, I still believe that I make better ones now than I did way back at the beginning. But when I started my YouTube channel, basically at that time I was in the midst of a very, very deep depression. I overdid it at work, and I totally burned myself out, and very bad. I mean, we're talking suicidal thoughts and the whole shebang. And it took me a long time. Like I was in denial of it for a very long time. But then I completely broke out one day at work after having some very difficult situation going on. And so thank God the people I was working with were very understanding, and they asked me to go and get some help, which I did. It wasn't easy. I have to admit it wasn't easy because there's a lot of stigma associated with the mental issues and mental health, and you feel kind of like a failure that you were not able to go through this by yourself. But I really needed the help, and I realized that I needed the help, and I wanted to be there for my family and my friends. So I had to get the help that was needed at the time, and that included getting some meds and getting a really good psychiatrist. He's like the greatest. He's really, really awesome, and he's not into prescribing meds for prescribing meds. He gave me all sorts of other alternatives, and throughout this process from 2014 onwards, he's helped me, you know, deal with a lot of stuff. And because let's be honest, I'm a perfectionist. This is something that I am, and I give myself fully. And so and I'm getting emotional, and I don't know why, because this is just such a happy time. But when I think back of the stuff that, you know, that I went through, and the death of despair of the time, it kind of makes me a bit sad because it didn't have to be that way. And but at the time, that's what happened. But yeah, so with a year of counseling, getting a therapist, and a psychotherapist, as well as my psychiatrist, I was able to get back to being a fully functioning person and get back to a job. It didn't end up being the same one, which was okay, because the environment in which I was at the time was not a good one, and I would probably have fallen right back after putting myself out of the hole. So I pulled out of it, and then I tried to get off my meds, but that was not a success. I could feel it coming right back on. So I realized that, you know what, if you have all sorts of illness, you'll take the pills that are needed to get better, and that's it. You know, like there's no shame in that, and there shouldn't be any shame in that. So so I continued taking on the pills and got better, and my life got back on track, and everything was going well, and my career was going well too, and I ended up having a promotion again. Not that I wanted one. I wanted to stay in a controllership position, but the director of finance opened up, and I was pretty much doing the job already, so it made sense to accept the position. But I knew what came with it, which was a lot of stress. And but I figured, you know, like I'd learned my lesson and everything was going to be fine. Well, then the pandemic happened, and that's a whole different story. So we lost personnel, and we started working from home. And you know, working from home, especially when you're kind of a workaholic and you work a lot, you end up having like there's no beginning and end to your day. Like you just continue. And obviously there's some people in my team fell sick, and so obviously what was to be predicted happened, and I fell back like hard. Not as hard as I did in 2014, mind you, because of the fact that I am a lot more aware of my body. I'm a lot more aware of my mental state, but I was not in a good place at all. Thankfully, though, I still had my psychiatrist that was following me, and so in 2021, I stopped working for about 2 months, and did a lot of the other. I'm feeling snotty. So the other, I stopped working a little bit, but just enough to get back to feeling better. And then because my team was missing people, and I really didn't want to have added weight on top of everybody else, I started working part-time and trying to increase it. But it was very difficult, and because of the fact that my depression was hitting me, I was definitely diagnosed with ADHD, which is not a surprising thing, because I've always been, I cannot stop. Like I could, but it's very, very difficult for me to stop. I just need to have something on the go all the time. And you know, my kids have had issues with attention deficit disorder, but one with more hyperactivity, and that's definitely coming from me because of the fact that I need to keep going. But because of the depression, I was having a lot of difficulty focusing on anything at all. And so my doctor prescribed some meds for it, and I started taking them, and it helped a lot, because then I was able to do full days of work without being totally exhausted and having massive migraines, and just it's very debilitating. I'm not sure I'm saying this right, but it's really hard to go through when you're having to put so much energy on trying to focus, especially when you've got like my job is very much mental job, which is like I need to concentrate on the numbers and focus on the financial statements and all that stuff, and so I don't get to move a lot, and so by the end of the day, my mind was just like overwhelmed. It was too much. So I took some pills, and that helped, and I was able to get back to doing pretty much full days, but I was still feeling like very, very challenged, and it was very hard. And just before the holidays, I was like, this is not going in the right direction. Like, I'm not feeling that I'm getting over this, and that I can actually do my full-time job in the proper fashion. And it was getting very aggravating because, you know, like, I wanted to be there, but obviously my body and my mind were not ready for it. So I took some time off during the holidays. I took 3 weeks, and because anyway we were shut down for a week, so I took an extra week before, an extra week after. And I don't know what happened, guys, but that first week of January, it's like a switch went off in me, and everything completely changed. And I know I've shared with you on YouTube how my word of the year is play. And I started on a spiritual path that is just beyond. It's just like, it's reconnected me in so many ways. And I know that it's not for everybody. The spirituality is very personal, and it can be in all sorts of different forms. And I know that when I say that I believe in God and that I am Christian, there's a lot of comments about that, and the fact that I do still do tarot cards, and I still do the crystals things, and I still do all of that, and I still read spiritual books, and there's a lot of, well, you can't be this if you're that. It's one or the other. You cannot choose. And it's all right for a lot of people to believe that, and I'm fine with them believing that, but that's not what I truly believe. I truly believe that God is bigger than that, and a lot of the spiritual literature that I'm taking in, either via what I started to do is when I'm going to work, because now we work 3 days a week at the office. So when I drive, I listen to audiobooks that I found on YouTube, and I've been listening to a lot of Wayne Dyer, and I don't know if you know him or not, but he's amazing, and he talks of God a lot, and how to bring him to your life and to yourself. And so, you know, I do meditation. I started meditating, which was something that I didn't believe I could do, but I actually do. I've also started, I've seen a Reiki healer that's helped me a lot, feeling more grounded with myself and more in touch with God and with Earth in general. And since that journey started in the month of January, I was able to let go of, I started back, like after my 3rd week, I got back to work full time, which is like 40 hours a week, like from the day one, and which is incredible because I wasn't able to do that prior to the holidays. And then from that point on, like I said, I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks, I've been reading a lot, I've been meditating, I've been just going into what is my core, what do I want to do. I love being able to help my company in the essence of what I do, and I'm good at it. So I know I bring something to the table, but I also know that there's something else out there for me. And so starting in the month of January, I decided that I was going to put a lot more focus on my personal business. And so now not only do I work 40 hours a week, but I work 40 hours a week on my regular job, and I do the YouTube, plus I've done a website, plus I've done a newsletter, Plus, I've done more art and I've gotten it printed, which is just beyond me. I'm just so excited about it. And I've started, like, I've really decided that this business of mine is gonna take place, and it's happening, and I think it's for the better. And I've got so many ideas on how to share our art in general, mixed media, art journaling, all those things can bring so much to your life and can be so healing. And I'm hoping that my channel can help some people explore and do other things and try new things and be open to new things. And so through all of this, even though I was working longer hours, often what will happen is I'll do my full day of job, my full work day, and then I'll stop, and then my husband Marc-Paul will do supper, and while he's doing that, I'm either filming something, unboxing. I've gotten a lot of collaboration with new companies, which I'm so blessed. I'm so happy. And so I'll do that, or I love thrifting. I've always loved thrifting. And one of the things too, which is kind of full circle, because my mom used to have, when I was a teenager, my mom used to have an antique store, and we used to do a lot of thrifting and antiquing, and I used to work at her antique store, and I liked that a lot. But I like the interaction. I love bringing things to people that people don't, vintage items that they don't see everywhere else, and that makes special gifts. But I didn't like the store was open 7 days a week, except for Christmas Day and New Year's Day, and I didn't want that in my life. But now via Etsy, I can actually do the thrifting that I love, which helps me find things that I can use in my art and that I can recycle and upcycle. And it also helps me to find items that other people in the world are also looking for, but don't necessarily have, because let's be honest, the vintage items, a lot of them get destroyed throughout time. So it gets harder to find sometimes the thing that will remind you of when you were a kid or something like that. So I find a lot of joy in that. And so I decided that my Etsy store was going to be for all my art, but also to bring those thrifted vintage finds. And I get a lot of comments of people that are super happy to find that special item for someone that they love, and to be able to send it out as a gift and everything. And that allows me to use that money to reinvest in the channel, and eventually my goal would be to do this full time. And then when I do that, then I could do retreats, I could do classes. I've got like tons of ideas of things I would love to do, but I need the time and obviously the means to do it. So the fact that you guys subscribe to my channel, my YouTube channel, make it help grow it, my Patreons, which are so supportive, and a lot of the stuff that I'm sharing here right now in this video, they've been through this journey with me this past year. I'm a lot more myself on Patreon, because obviously it's a much smaller crowd. There's not the judgment of the typical everybody that just finds my channel and that video that I'm going to be posting, and that will be leaving comments that are not necessarily nice. And even though I'm working really hard on letting all that go, because it doesn't belong to me, it belongs to them. In one of the audiobooks that I was listening to, Wayne mentioned another author, and I don't remember who it was, but they were mentioning this master, and how could the master be so so loving to everybody, even though he was getting so many judgments. And he said, you know what, when you get a gift, don't accept the gift. Who does the gift belong to? Well, it belongs to the person giving it out. So whoever is giving the opinions and the comments that are not nice, well, you can keep your gift. I don't need that gift. I don't need it in my life, and it's not going to be part of my life anymore. I'm only gonna, I want the best for everybody, and that includes myself. And that has to include myself in order for me to be able to be better and to share with you all and hopefully help somebody out there. So throughout all this, while making more hours, I was able to let go of my meds for ADHD, which I knew was going to happen because I didn't need, before the second bout of depression, I didn't need to have that med in my life. I was able to manage when I was, better mentally. I was able to manage my ADHD just by myself. So that's one thing that I let go. And then I was able to let go of my sleeping pills, which is pretty awesome. And then now I'm actually completely off my meds. So no depression pills whatsoever. And that hasn't happened since 2014. So this is huge. It's just insane. Like it's just crazy, beautiful. I'm happy. I'm doing things I love. I'm spending time with my families and my friends. And you can probably hear it in my voice, in my videos, that I'm a lot happier and that I ever been. And so I feel like my goal and what I'm working towards is coming. And that's just such a blessing. And I've got lots of big news, but I don't want to share it yet. So you guys are gonna have to come back for it. But I think you guys are gonna be happy and excited for it. I am, and so is my family. And they're just super excited to see that I'm better, and that I feel like not only is life worth living, but I feel like I've got lots to share with the world. And so yeah, that's my life update. I don't know if it's gonna help anybody to hear this story, but if you're feeling in the pits of despair and that there's no hope, don't let that voice win. Get some help. Get the pills if you need to. Don't try to do things by yourself. Get the help you need to get better, and it will get better. And then discover what makes you happy. And I think that's the big thing, is just listening to your voice, listening to your heart. What does your heart tell you to do? What does, that's the big wisdom out of all of this. And realize that you're definitely not alone in this. God is with you. The source, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is there. And so you just need to ask, and to be ready to be willing and open to it. And it took me a while. It was a long journey, but you know what? I made it. And I know for sure it's the journey's not finished. It's only beginning. There's still so much more. And there's days where it's hard. There's days where, I just feel like I'm not able to do this. But then I realize all that I've come through, and I realize that I can do this. And that what God is putting in my way is because He knows I can handle it. And so there's you know, lessons to be learned and growth to happen, and I'm just very excited about all that growth. I love learning, and that's something that's going to continue for sure. I just feel like right now I feel like a big sponge and trying to learn and get all that information in, and so many passion and so many things, and I think it's that's the part that makes it good, is the passion. So yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed this little inside what's been going on in my life, and I can't wait to read your comments. Hopefully they'll be nice. If they're not, I'll be honest, I will probably delete them, because they don't need to be shared and read by others, and people don't need to be brought down. And mental health issues are really hard issues to deal with, and I think if people need help, they need to be able to get it without judgment. And yeah, so love you guys so much, and hopefully this was not too too snotty and too much emotions. It's kind of hard to do this type of video without being emotional, but yeah, I'm very happy. So love you all.